Hello everyone, this is part 2 of our Writing Lab series, and today we are going to go over body paragraphs. Body paragraphs are the meat of your essay, so that's all the good stuff, right? So if you have a hamburger, the top and the bottom are your buns. That's your intro and conclusion. It kind of gets a sense of what you're looking at, right? But the good part is the middle part. You have your burger, you have your cheese, you have your condiments, all of that stuff. So, we have our body paragraph. You always start off with your topic sentence. Your topic sentence is a mini version of your thesis statement, and we'll go over that in a little bit. Then it's followed by you introducing your evidence. You don't just plop in a quote, you have to introduce it. Then you provide your evidence and the citation. For English and history, you're always going to use MLA format. So that's why all of your essays and paragraphs should be typed in MLA format. And we'll go over that in another episode. But the main portion of your hamburger, sandwich, whatever you want to call it, your body paragraph is the analysis and elaboration. This is the part where your voice as a writer comes out. It is the biggest portion of your body paragraph. It's the part that lets me know you didn't just read the story, you understood it and you took it a step further and you dissected it. You really got in there and tried to show what the author was trying to say or teach us. And then you have your conclusion, your transition sentence, whatever you want to call it, it's there. So a strong topic statement, again, that first sentence is a single sentence, just like your thesis. It conveys the main idea of that paragraph. It also links to the main idea of the whole essay itself. For example, if you're writing that essay about bees or climate change, you're not going to write a topic sentence about dolphins because it has nothing to do with the topic at hand. You are going to be precise and brief and clear. So, again, your topic sentence, not a place for evidence. It's not a place for you to put in your own thoughts. It's really just this is what it's going to be about. For example, I gave you the thesis. In Jacobs's short story, he uses the foolish and regrettable actions of the character to reveal their human nature. Now, this is a little bit different from the thesis I gave you in the intro and thesis portion. I wanted to change it a little bit, but this is another way to answer that same question we had, right? It asks, what are the actions and consequences of these actions reveal, right, from the monkey's paw? So we have this first idea of foolishness. This is my first topic sentence. This is what I want to talk about. So, getting this idea of foolishness, I'm going to change that word to unwise. So, I'm going to use a synonym there. So, after you have your topic sentence, you lead in by introducing your evidence and then presenting your evidence. Your evidence should support the topic sentence. It should include facts, quotes, or details with citation. That means if you got it from somewhere, even if you are paraphrasing, you need to tell me who that author is in parentheses at the end of the sentence. It should directly relate to the main claim you're making or trying to prove. It should be short and sweet, nothing longer than 2 lines. What I see constantly with students is that evidence is 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. When you have a quote that is more than 3 lines, according to MLA, you have to put that in a separate paragraph in itself. So you don't want your evidence to be doing most of the work. You should be doing the heavy lifting and elaborating. And you should always lead in your quote with a transitional phrase or statement so that your reader has a clue that this is what you are going to introduce in the next portion of your paragraph. Where do you do most of the heavy lifting in your body paragraph? Well, that's a good in good elaboration, it must be written in your own words. So you see this guy right here, he has a quote, and all around it, all of these extra squares is his elaboration. It's the way that he connects the ideas together and explains some of the motives and perspectives that we as readers might not have thought about while reading the same piece. It's the longest portion of your paragraph, and it links the evidence to the topic sentence and the thesis statement. So it has to be something thought provoking, on topic, and presented in a way that maybe the reader has not thought about. So if you have a quote that is 4 lines long in your paragraph, you are letting the work speak for itself rather than you speak for the work. So that's why I really discourage you guys from putting quotes that long, because to me, what it shows is that you didn't understand well enough or think about it hard enough to clearly articulate a different perspective. To add to that, the last portion of your body paragraph is a concluding statement. The unwise decisions of Mr. White reveals the corruption of human nature. When Mr. White uses his first wish, he does so despite the warnings of his longtime friend, Sergeant Major Morris. This is where I am introducing my quote. I'm setting it up. Where do I find this? You may ask. That's where my quote comes in. Not only does Morris tell Mr. White to wish for something sensible, he even throws the talisman in the fire to prevent him from using it. Despite these warnings, Mr. White foolishly and willingly takes it out of the fire and wishes for 200 pounds. This action is not only unwise, it is also illogical. Had Mr. White been a good friend, he would have taken Morris at his word and not made the wish. But being the selfish person he is, he decides to proceed with fair warning. For readers, this is surprising because prior to making the wish, Mr. White looks at his home and family and states that he's got all he wants. Whenever you see me put these brackets, it's when I change the word. For example, wish for something sensible here, it was a capital W and I put it lowercase. In this case, it was the word I, and I wanted to put it as a third person perspective, so I put he. Moving on, it says, he does not need anything of value. He has a home, a child, a wife, and a friend. His decision to make the wish not only reveals the greediness of human nature, but it also highlights the lack of gratitude that the protagonist has. He never expresses gratitude for his friend who has come all this way in the heavy downpour to visit him. He does not express gratitude towards his wife, who's possibly knitting him a garment at the start of the story. In the end, fate intervenes, and Mr. White's greed and lack of gratitude leads him to make a frivolous wish that costs him his son's life. So, as you can tell, I am editing as I'm reading this aloud because I am human and I need to edit. I make mistakes. So, that is something that I highly recommend to you as you are writing, to read it aloud to someone or even to yourself so that you can catch the mistakes that I just made right now. So, the reason why I wanted to highlight this is because, as you can tell, let's switch this to red so that you can see that it's in my own words. These are the quotes. It's 4 words long and 4 words long. I embedded it into my own wording so that I am doing most of the heavy lifting in terms of explaining the story from my perspective rather than letting the narrator of the story explain it from their perspective. Thank you so much for joining Writing Labs. Tune in next time. We are going to talk about conclusion paragraphs.